All right, let's go. Season number 3. I can't believe we've had 3 seasons of this. Episode 1. And this is a very special episode. I've got my good friend, Will Testani. Will's from Trumbull, lives in Monroe now. He's a very good friend of mine. But the goal for this new season, right, moving forward, that I've been talking about, I've gotten away from, is helping others. Right? Episode 1, nobody better to have on than helping others. Dedicated his life to helping others. My boy, Will Testani, black belt, dad, husband, fucking the man. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Thank you so much for having me.
Dude,
it's an honor to be here with you.
Dude, I'm excited about this because it fits right into what I'm trying to do. Look, you know, I've got, God willing, 14 fucking years. I'm like 14 years, March. My sober date is the end of March. It's like March 31st because my last drink wasn't that good. Like the 2 previously, I ended up in jail. Yeah. The 2 prior, I was in jail in the bullpen in New York City, like bankrupt, car repoed. I tried to fight them with an attorney in court, and I got sued the day I showed up to court. And you think that was enough? And then I went back. I was in a day program, like an outpatient program, and I remember I was living on a friend's couch, and I had whiskey. Whiskey was my thing, Jameson, right? And I was like, I drank like 1 or 2, and I was just like, dude, I'm done. I didn't black out that time. I didn't end up in jail. The weirdest thing, because the last times I fucking was up and down, in and out of the program, like recounting days, I ended up in jail. So I'm just like, God willing, like I'm super grateful, as I know you are, and that's, you know, I want to hear a little bit about your journey, bruh. I want to hear about it. Let's talk about it. Come on, let's talk about the journey.
So I'll tell you, man, like when it comes to, especially like when it comes to sobriety and my use and my story, I always, like when I go to meetings, right, or wherever I am, and I'm disclosing my story to people, I always start with the fact that like there's no Hollywood aspect to my story, right? There's no, the first time I ever used drugs, I was 12 years old. I smoked marijuana. This is about as crazy as it gets, okay? Smoked marijuana. A couple days later, I stole it from the person that I had smoked it with, and I sold it to my boy in school.
Nice.
And I got caught that day.
Oh, God.
12 years old. I was in 7th grade. And I had to...
Daniel's 12.
Oh, my mother had to come pick me up from school, bro. She drove up from Greenwich. She was working. Had to go home, and then my parents have a 12-year-old drug dealer in their house. That's how I started. That was how my using career started. And that's about as like when it comes to like arrests and overdosing under the bridge and like all that stuff.
All
like
the war stories.
I don't have that really as a part of my story. For me, it was the internal battle of like not being naive to what substance abuse disorder is and being strapped to a chair and having to fucking wear it anyways. And
no way out.
Having watched people, exactly.
You feel like there's no way out.
You feel like there's no way out. When I got sober, bro, I mean, my sober date's November 6th of 2014. And it was a week after Halloween. The last thing I remember is on Halloween night, I was speedballing that night. So it was heroin, it was cocaine. I wasn't a big drinker. I didn't like the taste of it. It took too long and too much effort for me to feel the way I wanted to feel. So I liked drugs. And
quick.
Yeah, dude. Bang.
Instant gratification.
Xanax, cocaine, heroin. That's what it was. Pill, you know. Oh. And I remember I was in college, and it was a Halloween party. I was living in a lacrosse house at WestCon. I was a college somehow had managed to become a college athlete. You know what I mean? Like by the skin of my ass, and people just helping me and something guiding me along. Yeah, talked my way in and out of everything. But we were at a Halloween party. A football player had pushed a girl or something, and the last thing I remember is punching him in the face on the front lawn of the lacrosse house. And then I woke up on November 6th. So I don't know what happened. I have no idea what happened between Halloween and November 6th.
That's a week, bro.
It's a week. I was losing time, bro.
Wait, you were done. You were out of the count for a week.
I don't know.
Holy.
Years later, I had to get my driving record approved for my job because I was going to be driving people around. Of course. And I found out that I had a ticket in Danbury on November 4th. So I was out. I was doing something. I ran a red light, and God know, obviously,
You're lucky you didn't get arrested.
I'm lucky I didn't fucking kill somebody. I'm driving out clearly in some sort of blackout.
Well, that's like the scary thing too, right? So it's funny you say Danbury. My story, we won't go into too much of the war stories, but my first DUI, I should have gotten the lesson here, right? But it was at Streets North in Brewster, New York, because you in Connecticut, the bars close at 2, 1:45, then you go right to New York, 20 minutes out of the way, and you're drinking till 4,
it's
right?
a drill, dude.
And I'm fucking flying. I don't remember, but allegedly I was flying on Route 7, and I ended up in Ridgefield or Danbury jail. I don't even remember. And fast forward, I remember I had to get my records to get into the Army. And before I joined the Army, I couldn't get in because of this DUI and this arrest in fucking Danbury on Route 7, and blacked out, should not have a driver. I mean, look, God willing, I never hurt anybody, right? I've been in many car accidents, drinking and driving, like in passengers, and being a passenger, and I mean, it would never, fucking looking back, bro, like scary shit.
Yeah.
So I get that, bro. Like, it's, if you're, for anybody, right? Look, if you're gonna fucking drink and party, don't put anybody else's life in danger. Right? Even if like we go, like I like driving everywhere now.
Yeah.
We'll go out with friends. We'll go out. My what? You have a fucking sip?
Yeah.
I'm not even going near it. I will go the fuck home, Uber, go home. Right? Like, I don't play that game. And it's scary, dude. You know, my DJ, my 12-year-old, he's got one of those fucking bikes, dude. Those fucking 32 mile an hour goes electric bikes. He's got the helmet on. And like, he's starting to learn he can ride it now, but like, dude, I'm nervous for other fucking drivers, bro.
Yeah.
But I don't want to get off topic here, but
control.
like, don't drink and drive. Don't drug and drive. You want to fucking get fucked up, dude, go do it in a room.
Right.
Fucking,
give your keys to somebody.
Go do it like a pro. Just go sit there and fucking
like I did. Fucking go use in your closet.
Go sit alone and feel sorry for yourself, bro. You know, like,
oh man. Yeah, dude. I mean that.
So you knew that was it.
Well, I had woken up that morning, and I was in an apartment in Danbury, and my girlfriend that I had been with for the previous like 3.5 years on and off had transferred to WestCon to be with me, and I think I wound up taking a bunch of money from her, and she woke up that day and found out about it. She went to the bank or whatever it was, so she was gone when I woke up, and I called her. I'm like, hey, where are you? Like, what's going on? I don't know what's happening. I'm out of drugs. I'm out of money. And she, Will, where the fuck's my money? And I'm like, what are you talking about? Who took your money? We'll figure this out. Don't worry about it. She goes, fuck you. I hung up. Right. Next thing I know, and now I know I'm fucked. I know it's over with. Right. I lay in bed for the rest of the day, and I get a knock on my door, and it's my mom. And I let her in, and she just got stuck in her tracks when she saw the fucking environment I was living in.
The mental shape.
Fucking bowls of cereal on the ground, clothes everywhere. It smells like whatever it smells like. I smoke Marlboro 27s.
Yeah.
Like it was nobody's business, brother.
Fucking sigged up.
And the second I realized that she was froze up, I booked it out of the house and was gone in the wind in Danbury for like 2 hours. All that to lead to my buddy's house across the street, sitting on his back porch, and Alex comes walking around the back, and he was a cop in Greenwich at the time.
It's your brother.
It's my older brother, and he just sits down next to me. He didn't yell at me, didn't scream at me, didn't punch me or anything. He just said to me, he's like, dude, listen, I know this fucking sucks, and you don't have to do this. You don't have to live this way. I know you don't know that yet. But there's one or two things that we could do from here. I'll leave. I'll have mom and dad. My whole family was looking for me, had dropped what they were doing. They didn't know if I was alive or dead. And he was like, well, I'll leave right now. And, we'll leave you here and you could do what you want. And at the time I was pretty resigned to the fact that I'm not going to live to see 25. I'm going to die this way. That's like what the most torturous part of my addiction was. I'm just going to die like this, bro.
Well, at some point you feel like you. I mean,
I wanted
to die.
I didn't have the constitution
when you get that low.
Yeah.
That's what because you're like, I can't get out of this. I don't want to live that way anymore. I might as well my self-worth, right? Like
right.
That's the worst part. And people don't think that there's a way out.
Right. I didn't. No. And that's what I meant when I said, like, I don't have any, like, there's no fireworks when it comes to my story. But the deep feeling of waking up in the morning and the drugs didn't kill you and being upset about that and having to fucking figure it out another day. How am I going to lie to? What am I going to do to my mom today to make sure I get money? What am I going to lie to my father about to get him to put money in my bank account? I would rather die than live that way, and that's how I felt. So he goes, we'll leave you here. You could go on doing what you're doing, and we'll make arrangements for your burial or whatever he said. I can't remember. Wow. Or you come with me. We'll go home. We'll figure this out. We'll get you taken care of, and we'll just see what happens. And I don't know, dude, what it was, because getting sober and living this life was on the bottom of my list of priorities.
Absolutely.
So being out of drugs, out of money, nowhere else to turn, fucking painted into the corner, I just got in the car.
You know, it's funny, a lot of people who are willing to turn their life around, right? It's the people that want it, right? Many times before that, you needed it. And it's like, well, how do you go from knowing I need it, everybody saying I need it, to that point of I want it? And there's a chapter, there's a fucking paragraph that I pray for every day in my gratitude prayers when I pray on my knees in the shower. And it says, and it's in the 2 Wives chapter of Alcoholics Anonymous. The NA book's a little bit different, but AA, it says, only in the last analysis is where he may be found. And you got to think about that, right? Like you just said it. This is the first time I heard your story, but you were like broke down, nowhere to go, sick and tired, being sick and tired. At that point, you're like, I don't have any other choice. I know I need it. Everybody says I need it, but like I don't got anything else. So
right
now I might want it.
Right.
And they call that, for me, right, through my experience, that is God's grace, bro. You took that fucking window of opportunity and made it happen. It's fucking crazy how you hear about like the book and like, look, people can have their own opinion about AA and NA. I don't care, right? For my story, that is the only prayer I had. Now, I'm not a fucking big AA book person anymore, right? I still learn how to live my honest life and go through my day and help others in my own way. Then it says in the book, like after you get sober, you do the steps, you do the work, you open yourself up to therapy, right? I'm big into the therapy stuff. I got fucking my therapist got therapists, right? Like I'm genuinely into this self-help. I've tried everything on this one, psychiatrist, psychology. I've tried the meds. Like for me, it's fucking just like acceptance and God and gratitude, bro. Like you could try anything else you want, and it's fucked up and nothing else works.
You know what I mean, dude? You're so right, man. And I think like the honest. How do you get to that place? I mean, for me, I've never felt closer to gratitude. I've never felt closer to being able to accept things in life as they come to me, which isn't always the way I fucking want it to be. But when I'm helping others, and I'm not in my own place of self-centeredness, and that could look like either in the rooms doing step work or fucking helping a older lady get her shopping bags to her car. I'm not thinking about money. I'm not thinking about Will. I'm not thinking, you know what I mean? And so you're closest to those things. I feel, at least I am, in that space.
Dude, it's almost magical. Like I wish, like, you have to, and I know I had understood those moments before, like when I got arrested when I was 15. I remember you said you smoked weed at 12. Like I was smoking weed at 12. I was stealing fucking beers. My boy's brother was in high school. We had a keg party. The next day we were drinking the keg in the morning from the night before, like throwing up, like you know, and like you think like in those moments, like I should not be doing that. I mean, my father killed himself with alcoholism. My mother got sober when I was 12. And in the back of my head, it's like I resented AA because my mother forced it on me my whole life. My mother was, thank God, my mother planted that seed when I was fucking 12.
Absolutely, dude.
Right? Because and I think about this a lot. I'm like, subconsciously, I knew if it got real bad, I knew the 12 steps. I knew what a 4-step was by the time I was 13 years old, right? Like, I just knew it. I was around AA people. My mother was fucking into it. And it's like, what's fucked up is I think I said I didn't want to be like my dad. But when I started really getting bad, I knew in the back of my mind that I could always go to AA because it would be safe. Right? Like, I'm like, dude, I knew about it. Like, I resented it, but like the sicko in me was like, dude, well, if shit gets real bad, bro, I could go to AA. And when shit started getting real bad in 2006, 2007 for me, that's when I started my first journey with AA. Like, doing a day, doing an hour, doing a week, doing 2 weeks, going to jail, getting arrested, getting sober for a week, doing a day, like just like this fucking vicious cycle. Like the in and out of the rooms for me was almost as bad as like I should have just like stayed out and like ended up in that place. But it took me 3 to 4 years to put together 60 days, right? Like, and then I relapsed, right? Like, it's just looking back, and I don't regret anything I've done, and I'm super grateful for like my journey and everything I've gone through even now, and it's like I wish I could fucking just give somebody that is struggling that moment in the last analysis, right? Like when you're like, dude, I'm cooked. Like my shit ain't working no more. I gotta want this, or I gotta like put my life in God's hands. Like you don't realize that stuff till you get into the book or you start doing the step work, right? But like that's exactly what happened when the book talks about it, or the NA book talks about it. It's the same principles, right? And it's hard to get that message across. Like I'm dealing with a good friend right now, and I don't want to take that thunder from you. Like I got a good friend, bro. Like, and I'm frustrated with him, bro, because it brings his story right now. He's going through a divorce. He's acting like, I know he's drinking during the day. Like when I started drinking during the day, that's when it started getting real bad. I started drinking in the day. I end up in jail. I'm drinking all day. Yeah. I did a little coke. Like I messed with the coke. I could drink more, but the amount of booze I was drinking wasn't enough for the amount of coke. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like the booze was too much.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I just wish, bro, I could just give him a piece of the way I feel every day, dude. Like, and it's bringing up a lot for me. Like, it's bringing up a lot of old shit, like the craziness, he's just, it's not good for him. And I'm frustrated with it, bro. And it's like you want it. And I know how a good friend of mine, rest in peace, my good friend Mike Tompkins. And my story was, dude, I was in a bad relationship when I lived in San Francisco. And I had to go over to Oakland because my ex was in San Francisco. Dude, I was so fucked up. I was just broke, bro. Like, broke down spiritually, mentally, physically. I was losing everything. And my boy Mike, rest his soul, he's dead. You might have met him. I know your brother met him. His name, we called him Bike Mike. This dude didn't give up on me, bro. He took me in on his couch, and he that tough love, bro. Just like that tough love, and he didn't give up on me, dude. And he told me every time I went over that bridge from Oakland to San Francisco, consider a relapse. And I'm like, fuck you. You don't fucking know what I'm going through, right?
He got
bro,
you, man. He got
every time I went over that bridge, the fucking Bay Bridge, I haven't been back to San Francisco since. And I'm not scared of it. I have no desire to go, but I would relapse, bro. I ended up in Oakland jail, San Francisco County, San Francisco General Hospital in a psych unit. I ended up in Pleasanton, fucking Danville prison. Like, dude, and he was fucking right. And he didn't give up on me. Like I want to help my boy, but I'm so frustrated. And I'm just gonna tell myself with him, like, I got it. I don't know. I can't do anything. He needs it. He knows he needs it. He doesn't want it.
There's no good answer to it. I've had I've different scales with this kind of thing, but your life, man, the life that you lead is the example. Like it's all you can do.
By example, people don't get that, bro.
It's consistency in the way you live your life is what attracts people to pursue that kind of life if they make it that long. And then that's where it just becomes the ultimate turning over on our part, for the people that we love. You know what I mean?
And it's like, dude, I'm not perfect, right? And not at all. I'm far from it. I'm a fucking, at some points I feel
Sure.
like I'm a dressed up mess, but I'm willing to change it.
Sure.
After I got sober, right, I put down the booze. Then life happens, right? I tell people all the time, the first year,
Forget
the fucking
about it.
breeze, bro.
Yeah.
For your second year is when the wreckage starts coming. You start really doing the work, and you got to really, like, pick up all the fucking pieces, right? And it's like, it's you gotta want it, bro. You gotta be willing to do the work, and there is a way out, but that's what it takes.
Yeah, I mean, I think so many people have different experiences with that first year and what it means to like want this, right? So for somebody like me, when I was 21 years old, I was in college. I was just able to fucking drink legally when I got sober. I didn't want to be sober, dude. I didn't want to be sober, but the problem was that's what I was thinking about, being sober. I wasn't thinking about living a life of recovery.
Jumping the gun.
Because those are two very different things. I can be a dickhead and be sober. I can piss people off and be sober still. But if like living a life of recovery, man, and this is something else somebody told me. When I spent the first 5 months of my sobriety in my basement at home because I had come from school. I had come from all these isolating. I was terrified. I didn't know how to live life, man. Used from the age of 12 to 21. So you took that away from me, and I had no program in my life. I had done some good work while I was in treatment for 30 days, and that's it. But all I did was uncover things.
3
that
hots and a cot, yo.
That's it.
3 hots and a cot.
And
as a rehab.
I didn't know how to live my life as a young man in sobriety or in recovery.
In society.
And I remember, dude, one night I got in a fight with my family, and I had $60 in my pocket. And my dealer had just texted me saying he changed his number, and I'm the fucking one that was supposed to change my number, and it was a perfect storm, and I drove down to Norwalk. I was going to Norwalk Hospital IOP at the time, and I had thrown in the towel on this thing. All I heard was how great my life was going to be, how good I was going to feel, the golf I was going to play, the girls I was going to talk to, the cigs I was going to smoke, coffee I was going to drink, all that. And I'm like, I'm fucking miserable. Yeah. I'm more miserable now than I ever fucking was when I was using. Because I have every single problem that I ever had since I was 12 years old and beyond that. But now I don't even have my drugs to deal with it. I got nothing.
Just got me.
I got a call again, dude. Again, Alex calls me. Talks me all the way home, and he goes, "Listen, bro, I know this fucking sucks. Same thing, same conversation. I know you feel like shit. If you want to use, that's fine. But tonight, just go. I got this guy I want you to meet. Go meet him. He's gonna be at a meeting at St. Pete's in Monroe. Just go meet him, dude. Then do whatever you want." And I got out of the car.
That's Stepney?
No, other side of town. I go to the meeting, and I get out of the car. It's this dude across the parking lot from me. Big, jack, tall dude, slick back hair, got out of a Lexus. All those things, right? The shiny
Happy,
things.
joyous, and free.
He's got a huge smile on his face. The first thing I said to him, dude, I scale him up and down. I go, "What the fuck are you so happy about?" And he just laughed at me. He just laughed at me, bro. He's like, "No, dude."
You're right where you're supposed to be.
He became my sponsor right after that, dude.
Good.
He's been my sponsor ever since. And he's one of my best friends. But like, this process of getting the hook into sobriety or into recovery and wanting to live this kind of life happened months after, years after getting sober. And it was never about, for me, bro, it was never about how bad things got. For some people it is, right? You get beaten down. And those,
everybody's got their own story.
Those weeks and those months, dude, that you were in and out of jail or back and forth over the bridge and you were starting to play around with the idea of sobriety, that counts, bro.
That's what I'm saying.
That's your recovery.
Yes.
Because little by little, you cannot claim ignorance anymore. And life is showing you that.